Thank you for joining Wars of the Roses. As we continue with Part 14, Padma Sambhava, the Great Guru, from the Adepts in the Eastern Esoteric Tradition by Manly Palmer Hall, Part 2, the Arhats of Buddhism. Padma Sambhava, the Great Guru. While the British expeditionary force under Sir Francis Younghusband was approaching Gyantse, it came to the gorge of the Red Idol of Zambang. The gorge is named for a crude and grotesque image of the wizard-priest Padma Sambhava, which stands on the narrowest point of the gorge amid boulders and crimson barberry bushes. Throughout Tibet, representations of this remarkable Indian yogi are to be found drawn or carved on the high cliffs, in wayside shrines, the Lamaist temples and private homes. This hero priest is the most romantic figure in the culture life of this lonely, isolated territory of mountains, glaciers and deserts. About the year AD 743, Trisong Detsen ascended the throne of Tibet. He was only 13 years old, and his policies were strongly influenced by his mother, a Chinese princess, the adopted daughter of the emperor, and a devout Buddhist. At that time, the priest of the royal family of Tibet was the Indian monk Santarakshita. When the king expressed the desire to invite an outstanding Buddhist priest to found a religious order in his country, Santarakshita advised him, if possible, to secure the services of his brother-in-law, a celebrated guru of the Tantric Yogacharya school, who was then a professor of transcendental subjects at the great University of Nalanda. The guru accepted the invitation and reached Tibet in the year 755, according to the Chinese calendar, slightly earlier by the Tibetan reckoning. Padma Sambhava is now regarded as the founder of Lamaism, as distinguished from Indian Buddhism. From Lhasa and its mysteries, the Buddhist Saint Padma Sambhava, founder of Lamaism. This powerful adept magician was born in Udayana, now Kafiristan, in the opening years of the 8th century. At that time, Udayana was famous for its sorcerers, or as Marco Polo called them, dealers in deviltry and enchantment. The precious guru appeared in the material world by miraculous means. A ray of light flowed out of the celestial Buddha Amitabha and fell upon a beautiful lotus floating upon the lake of Danakosha. In the heart of this lotus was seated a luminous child, apparently 8 years of age, bearing in his hand the thunderbolt scepter of Indra. He was brought up under the patronage of Indra Bodhi, the king of Udayana, and gained extraordinary distinction for his knowledge of spells and enchantments. He was able to control all infernal spirits, ghosts, and monsters of space. It was appropriate that such a magician should be selected to convert the demon-infested region of Trans-Himalaya. He selected 25 disciples to perpetuate his esoteric traditions, and each of these attained fame for his powers to perform miracles, control the elements, and project his consciousness to distant places. The Tibetan records would indicate that Padma Sambhava remained in the country approximately 50 years, but it is more probable that he visited Tibet on various occasions over this period of time. The precious guru assembled the leaders of the northern countries which he had converted and gave them detailed instructions and encouragement for the perpetuation of his doctrines. He also explained that he had hidden books, manuscripts, and secret magical inscriptions in sacred caverns throughout the land. The circumstances of his death are not known. He departed from Tibet miraculously, and it was the common belief that he set forth to enlighten other lands, probably Ceylon or Java. When the wizard teacher had finished his farewell address, a rainbow descended from heaven and surrounded him. 4 supernatural beings appeared, and he entered a magical chariot and was borne away in the sky, followed by processions of devas and heavenly musicians, filling the air with flowers and music. The chariot was visible for 25 days and nights like a comet, until at last it vanished over the southern horizon. Since that time, it is affirmed that the guru occasionally returned to preserve the peoples he loved and served. Whenever an emergency arose, this great magician slipped into the body of some king, prince, or priest, remaining there until the need had passed, and then quietly departed. In a text upon yellow paper dating back to the first half of the 13th century, there is an extensive account of the last discourse of the precious guru prior to his departure from Tibet. In this report, it is stated that Padma Sambhava traveled to a country which lay in the direction of the sunset, that he might convert the Rakshasi, demons dwelling therein. When his resolution to depart was made known to his disciples and converts, the king of Tibet and his entire court prepared to follow him. The royal company journeyed with the great teacher as far as the mountains that divide Tibet from Nepal, all the while offering him treasures and beseeching him to remain in their land. On the last day before his translation, the Holy One of Uddiyana delivered a long sermon warning his followers that there was no way to escape the sorrows and misfortunes of the material cycle of existence except by faith in the teaching of the Lord Buddha and obedience to his doctrine. The Tibetan form of this address is filled with strange and unfamiliar terms, but many of the Guru's words reveal the deep, mystic inspiration which he brought to the wild mountain dwellers of the land of Bod. The following fragments are extracted from the farewell message of the Lord Padma. I have revealed the word doctrine out of mercy. Men who think of me in spirit, my body is no longer to be seen, but I sit above you. Be serious and think of me. Put my world in gold, silver, and gems. Wherever I, the sublime Lord, appear, there is always my sublimity. Whoever confesses this constantly shall meet me, the sublime Lord. If your belief in my word does not waver at the approach of death, you shall receive power and salvation. Now I am going, but I shall always protect you. It is not necessary that I remain. There is always my divine blessing to help you. As the saint was being borne away in the upper air, surrounded by rainbows and singing spirits, he turned back long enough to address his weeping disciples once more. If you desire eternal peace, cling to the faith. You cannot follow me now, but you shall find me again. As I am now ready to go to the dwelling of the gods, do not ask to accompany me on the way. You and I shall meet again forever. There will be no end to asking me. Then the Guru flew away. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Roses. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.